Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with TC Mono to bring you guys GlobalClan doubleheader, first versus Poop Gaming, and then versus like a G6. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 17, Week 2A and Week 3A, as we're about to see a whole lot of GlobalClan action that we haven't really quite seen before because I don't think we've really been able to have a chance at catching them up until now, and we're going to get a whole lot of it. So far, they haven't been so lucky. The record right now is 0-3. But you know, everyone's the strength of schedule for the first couple weeks is always a bit wonky until the round robin aspect sort of balances out. So who knows? Maybe they'll be on the come up, and they'll have a not so difficult time necessarily on against Poop Gaming for sure with G6. But you never know what's in store. As Poop Gaming coming in with potentially 2 different scouts on the roster could shake things up and could throw a wrench in GlobalClan's plans to try to get at least one win tonight. So TC, I'm really excited and ready to learn what the outcome of this doubleheader is going to be.
I 100% agree, and like you said, GlobalClan not having the easiest of starts to this season. I mean, they're down 0-3, but you have to look at the teams they played against. They played against Freddy Tech, the Cell Jiminy, teams that we expect to be in that top level of Invite so far. So I think this game versus Poop Gaming should be very close. I believe both of them are technically winless. I mean, I think Poop Gaming has 1 win, but that was to bye week, so not an official one. But this is definitely going to be one that both of these teams are looking at like, all right, this is one definitely winnable for us. We should try and be able to come out with some type of victory here. The other one that they're probably looking at is the advanced move up team as well. So that's kind of where, these guys are. So a very big important match for them. And then also, you're talking about all the kind of little roster changes that we've had. Not too many big ones, and some of them are just substitutes coming in potentially, depending if the actual players do get there. But just to run it down, so for GlobalClan, the team that we're going to be seeing twice tonight, we're going to have Darty on Flank Scout, Scratch on Pocket Scout, Grape Juice on Roaming Soldier, Alexandros on Pocket Soldier. We're going to have Alex.exe as Demo Man for tonight, at the very least. Not sure if that's going to be a permanent swap or just Penny is not able to make it to this match. So Alex.exe is going to be on Demo, and then finally Dinko is going to be the medic, and that's GlobalClan if you want to run down Poop Gaming.
Yeah, for the side of Poop Gaming, you have Rakuso and What's Pogging Champions, aka Namey, the Oz Fortress Prem player on Scout. You have and Walrix on Soldier. You have Mig on Demo and Foxy on Medic. I will note, though, that they said that Rakuso would be playing. Poop Gaming just got done playing a Freddy Tech match like 30 minutes ago that we didn't cast. Tresh played Scout on that one because Rakuso wasn't here. And then we asked, hey, is Rakuso making it for the match? He said, yeah, Rakuso will be here. And I'm looking on Steam, and Rakuso is set to away. He is not here, so I can only assume that it's not actually going to be Rakuso on Flank Scout like they assumed, and Tresh is going to have to play this one as well. So we'll see if he pops in at some point, or if Tresh just rides it the whole night as the Flank Scout for Poop Gaming. But either way, a lot of substitutions all around, or at least new faces. You've been trying to keep track of the teams in the first couple weeks through player streams or various casts and whatnot. But might not be necessarily what either team expected going into this match when they kind of were predicting, what do we want to do against a particular roster. So I hope for both their sakes that their game plan was more so focused on their own team play rather than trying to hard counter what the other teams bring into the table.
I 100% agree, and over on the side of GlobalClan, very excited to see Alex.exe because, a lot of returning players just in general over the past couple of seasons. Obviously, LAN always brings back teams as well, like a G6, and kind of the Witness Gaming crew. Even though they're not playing as that, a lot of those players who would be playing on Witness Gaming have found other homes. A player that we haven't seen long time is Alex.exe. If you're a bit newer to watching competitive TF2 at the high level, he was last seen on Wit Gaming many seasons ago, all the way in season 8, which is crazy to think. That's almost 10 seasons ago, but that's the last time he was rostered on a team, and definitely a very good demo. If you're wondering who is this guy, that Alex.exe is a really great demo.
Made grand finals and then decided that he was going to switch esports for in-person sports. I haven't really seen him except in the pug scene since.
Yes, exactly. So very excited to see him back and see him adjust. But I guess when you look at these two teams, Jared, this is obviously should be, I think, close on paper. Both these teams are going to be thinking within themselves that they can get a victory here tonight. We're going to be over on Snakewater, and as we kind of saw in the Greasy Dot Hawks match earlier, a lot of it comes down to the mids. A lot of it can be decided by what your soldiers decide to do on the mids. Do they go for the double bomb? Do they just try and play passive? Knowing what you know about these teams, what do you think the game plan is? Assuming they're not going to try and counter each other, what do you think the normal flow states of both of these teams are?
I think GlobalClan will be focused not necessarily in one place, because I think they're going to have the capability of just kind of putting the game in Scratch's hands to be able to let him kind of dictate the flow. But at the same time, giving Grape Juice the room that he needs on the flank to go ahead and be the star like playmaker and set the pace as well. So I feel like they're going to be kind of fluid, and that makes it kind of harder to counter them. Another reason why, probably best case for each team to kind of focus on their own strats. So I feel like they're going to be pretty able to kind of adapt and maybe play reactive if they feel like they need to, unless they just want to go ahead and jump the gun and go really aggressive off the bat. It's kind of hard because I don't know if these guys have played each other that much, and even if they have, it's difficult to say, like, oh, well, they changed their roster a little bit since then, so, are they going to play the same way? So I would kind of expect at least a little bit more reactive-y type of deal from the side of GlobalClan. For the side of Poop Gaming, I kind of feel like they are going to lean into aggression, mostly because if you're on the lower half of Invite when it comes to experience, sometimes you need that chaos factor. Obviously, both these teams are pretty experienced, but if you could just compare them on paper, GlobalClan is going to have the more accolades and the more experience. So if you try to outplay them via like actual playmaking and taking it slow and methodical, it's more likely that you will potentially get dismantled because the other team has more time to kind of figure out what you're doing and do the proper move and proper counter to it. But if things are constantly fast-paced, there's a lot of chaos, it's hard to coordinate, etc., then that's where you can really shine, and any advantage that the other team might potentially have could be kind of thrown in the dumpster. So that's what I would kind of expect of them. Of course, that's just our armchair analysis, where it's Snakewater of all maps, of course, which slow down inherently, so teams might play into that. They might try to do the opposite of that to make sure these stalemates don't happen. So there's really no telling, but that's what I would kind of lean to if I had to choose.
No, 100% agree. Like you said, maybe a bit more, not inexperienced, but not as much experience for on the side of Poop Gaming. And Naomi, I didn't actually even know that they were an Oz Fortress Prem player, I guess is the Premier Division there. And going to be very exciting to see some other Oz Fortress people come into a upcoming LAN. So maybe this will give us a little bit of a tease for what they kind of do over in Oz Fortress, because Naomi going to be stepping in, I think, for the remainder of the season instead of Esper, who was the previous Pocket Scout on the team. She stepped down, Naomi taking that spot.
And he has 70 ping. It's not a 200 ping like you'd expect. He's actually in NA.
Oh, okay. He's made the journey over, so not just a staying up, I guess, very late? Waking up early? Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like lunchtime, a little bit past lunchtime.
Oh.
So 3:30.
3:30. Wow. All right. Well, I guess if we do have any Oz Fortress people watching in the chat, there is your person to root for. And maybe you'll predictions accordingly. We are just waiting Rakuso, who has actually joined the server, so he has managed to make it to the game. He's not gonna be too much later than this, and he's gonna be able to play for his team. But now that we know fully what each roster is gonna be, Jarrett, I am gonna press you for a prediction. Mine is going to be GlobalClan. I think you're right. They probably do have a little bit more experience, and I think, like you said, if they can just make it Scratch's game, enable him to go for as many trades and Ubers and fights as he wants, and just kind of give him the world, I think it should be a pretty good game for GlobalClan. So I'm going to say it's going to be GlobalClan taking it 4-2.
I think that naturally Snakewater's really stalematy, and I also part of me thinks that, I don't know if Poop Gaming will play as aggressive necessarily, because, I mean, if Rakusa's literally just getting home, You might want to give them a little bit to warm up, you know, before you start going into straight up DM fights, right? Because it's going to take them a sec. So they might actually lean into, you know, even just playing normal, I feel like on a map like Snakewater can just all of a sudden just slow things down. I think we've seen plenty of matches that, unless there's like a enormous skill gap that leads to like an actual like 5-0 or something, or someone team getting 5 rounds, even a mid victory, if your medic dies, it's not necessarily enough to convert the round because the stalemates that can happen in between second and last are so strong no matter what the team matchup is. So I feel like it isn't going to go to 5, but I do feel like that GlobalClan should be kind of leading the charge here unless they screw up somewhere along the way with the, like, I think early game advantage they're going to have going on. So I'll say like a 3-1 in GlobalClan's favor. Apparently they did do really well in their pregame versus Jiminy, but scrims are scrims and team playstyles are team playstyles, you know? So maybe I'm wrong and maybe I'm discrediting it too much. Maybe Snakewater's their map and they lead the charge and go 5-0, but I definitely think they're in the driver's seat for this match. And it's kind of Poop Gaming still the underdogs that need to kind of prove their worth here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this is only, I believe, Foxy's second season in Invite. Their first was a last season. I mean, they have a lot of experience in Highlander, but only their second season in a Invite 6s. But no, I definitely agree. GlobalClan, I'd say the tentative favorites. We'll see how dominantly or not dominantly they take it in here. But that is actually a good shout on Rakuso. Maybe being a little bit cold, obviously. Very accomplished Invite player, but making the switch over onto Scout, which I know he's done a lot just in kind of like pugs and stuff, but I think this is maybe his first full season playing Scout. I might be wrong on that. Obviously known for his roaming soldier, but we're going to have to see either way if he has got that heat him in immediately, as we are going to be going live Poop Gaming versus GlobalClan here on Snakewater. Going to be watching MiG-21 on his rollout. Interested to see how it all plays out.
Yep, even though the map might be prone to some stalemates sometimes, the mid is anything but, unless the team doesn't want to initiate right off the bat. Even then, it's action non-stop as both Domen have arrived. We'll see the blue team rolling out through Sob, while the red team goes ahead and rolls out through Cat, but things will eventually kind of equalize and be back in the normal position since no one's immediately pulling the trigger right off the bat with an immediate double bomb. Both teams feeling each other out. Slight high ground advantage for the side of Poop Gaming, but it's only so much so advantageous because there's not that much damage really being put out since both teams aren't, you know, they're not really trying to get too aggressive. Is gonna eat some damage. They try to pressure a bit, might give up his life with a side of scratch, but the distraction comes in.
Oh my God!
The air shot onto Foxy. She's dead. There's only 3 left alive for the side of Poop Gaming, and 2 soldiers are trying to bomb in at half HP. They get the 1 rocket onto scratch, and a nice air shot from Alex.exe, who is on the lock and load, but those 3 combined will succeed in getting the force out of Dinko. Rakuso just got home, but he's still gonna almost win the 1v1. He does win the 1v1 versus Darty, and is now still alive to apply the pressure to Alexandros. Getting a buff, jumping in, will take 1 rocket to kill Rakuso. Overall, not a bad job from the side of Poop Gaming to salvage things a little bit at the end there, but overall, a victory for the side of GlobalClan.
Is going to be a victory for GlobalClan, meaning they will get mid because Foxy died earlier in that fight than compared to when Dinko used. They are going to have a little bit of slight Uber advantage. I doubt they're going to do anything with it. At very least, it's just going to allow them to be a bit more confident in the sec hold. As the soldiers are flying in, they are going to try and drive this Grape Juice on the Foxy. Can he hit another? He does! Oh my God, Grape Juice going absolutely insane, but Rakuso in behind gets onto Dinko. Alexandros is going to clean those 2 players up with some nice rockets, but the damage has already been done. This is just going to be a DM fight for the remainder. Here comes Walrix bombing in, trying to land onto Alex.exe, does some good damage, but the rest of his team does get cleaned up. He finds one onto Scratch, not going to find another, and it is just exciting chaos, but still, every single time, it's GlobalClan getting the better end of the stick.
Rakuso and Grape Juice both need to chill a bit or they're going to use up all their juice. We're only, what, 2.5 minutes into the match and they're already pulling out this stuff. But at the end of the day, despite all the flashy plays, it's going to be GlobalClan that reigns supreme in this dry fight. A little bit of a disrespect dry fight, just like, yeah, you guys won't be set up, we'll be fine. And they find the picks they need to even they lose their medic in return, so Dinko's Uber availability is going to be a bit of a sacrificial lamb here, but they are going to be able to take the ground. They have time on the side of Poop Gaming to go ahead and build and set up a defense. You got the sentry gun in the normal spot. It doesn't necessarily watch the shutter, but it does watch drop down and lower. And now you gotta try to spam it down. They do succeed. Really good job from the side of GlobalClan. The soldier, I think, wasn't quite at the door to counter spam in time, so it's pretty free. And a Grape Juice for a third time. Foxy does not want to get air shot the third time she gets bombed, and will go ahead and force in, understandably so, down to 30-ish, 20-ish HP. So don't want to risk the fact that, you know, it's probable that could have been a two-man, and the scout just chips you from across the map. So definitely understandable. As GlobalClan, they're in a pretty good spot right now. Grape Juice has already respawned. Gun is getting built up once again from the side of Nami, back in the original position, and can afford to, since they know there's some time before the push actually happens. But just because you have an opportunity doesn't necessarily mean it will convert 100% into a round, so we'll see what GlobalClan has in store for us as they group up around the shutter and get ready to a double fake into lower, maybe? No, they want to spam the gun. They know they had a giant ad, they had the time, and now they're going to rip it through shutter.
Yeah, they use it immediately, and they instantly go over onto the left side. They get a lot of cap time onto the point. They bait one soldier, and they take down Scratch is just on it. Finally, the scouts get on top, but it's too little, too late. He just had so much cap time, and that is going to be the first round going in the favor of GlobalClan after I think 3 separate heroics all coming out from Grape Juice.
Yep. As like I said, Scratch can lead, you know, when I said with GlobalClan, Scratch can kind of play his own game and kind of have the team like on his back when some of these Uber exchanges. But I also mentioned that Grape Juice, you know, if you just let him be the star of the show, sometimes he can pull it off. And he definitely did for that round. Even at the end there, that double bomb onto Mig removed all the stickies off the point, and it was an easy cap at that point. So we're off to another mid. It was slow and methodical previously. They tried to put some damage on and chase him down, and it was a bit sketchy, but the final bomb from Grape Juice did seal the deal. But does he have a third air shot in him is the big question. So far, no one quite pulling the trigger yet, which was what we saw earlier on. Alexandros will take a little bit of space here to try to draw some eyes. He'll take some damage back for the pack, but while Walrex will go inside kitchen. Just the same, not really do too much. Overall trade 1-for-1 for soldiers. Grape Juice in onto Foxy, doesn't quite find the angle. Maybe on Rakusa instead, but no, Rakusa 180, able to get that kill and eat the pack in turn. So overall, with Alex.exe being one of the earlier kills that happened and no more demo man spam available, Grape Juice's death will be the nail in the coffin. But Uber Exchange comes out, surprise Uber Exchange, maybe a check to see if there's some flashes around or if they can catch Foxy without an Uber of her own, but they will bite off way more than they can chew. Such a worse Uber that, I mean, Darty, he is able to salvage a little bit. Alex.exe rolling out in return. This could have been amazing for the side of Poop Gaming, but they've also bitten off more than they could chew. Got a bit too greedy with those earlier kills, and now they find themselves losing 2 important players here, so they can't necessarily take 2 for free. They got to put the effort in. 4v3 scenario, Grape Juice and friends are still trying to apply some pressure in lobby and spam, but the lack of heals means that they will eventually have to go ahead and give up seconds. So the cap will go in favor of the red team despite losing a couple people, and GlobalClan will have their turn to go ahead and set up on last as Darty already on the engineer. And we'll see how long this stalemate goes. Actually, not even a stalemate, they have ad.
Yeah, they do have a little bit of ad, definitely usable, but Dinko is close enough that if this Uber takes a bit— oh my god, the trap from Alex! Just huge over and lower. It wasn't spotted, and that is the ad completely gone. Now it's going to be ad in the favor of GlobalClan. They're going to have the opportunity to push out here, immediately mobilizing over into lobby. Over by Cheese does get spotted, so just going to have to back up. Not really in a healthy enough scenario to really go for anything, but one person who is, Walrix, hiding over in lower. He's just maybe hoping that they get in through lower and he's able to get onto someone, but instead decides to play his life, live a little bit longer, maybe set up on mid as this Uber from GlobalClan is coming right straight through.
Yep, they've cleared the stickies. Is trying to apply a lot of pressure, but kind of splitting it onto the Scout and the combo, and he will eventually get cleaned up by the Scout duo, so overall will not find too much help there. Walrex has found himself behind, might draw some eyes back. The rest of the team kind of goes out to catch him, but he's immediately out of there into Saw. So did buy a little bit of time, but overall inconsequential as they will be able to get their Uber regardless. But no, Mig! He got juggled up into the sky and couldn't just walk out the door, so that bought some extra time for Scratch to go there and collect that kill. So no, Demoman is absolutely huge. He did give up his life for it though, but Demoman is such an important class here that GlobalClan will definitely try to make some space. Maybe even if not exchange, go for a sack at least. while they have that pick. Getting is extra huge as well. So much less spam damage that the red team can't actually apply. They might just, yeah, they have to go for the exchange. Navy gets the Uber, runs in, gets the kill into Alexandra, but the Uber is being milked like nobody's business from the side of Dinko. They will eventually use, trying to chase down Foxy with her last breath, down to 50 HP, jump around the rails, and Grape Juice is actually the first one to die here on the side of GlobalClan. Have they ended the Uber a bit too deep? Walrex kills Dinko. Scratch dying as well. He returns to the fight. It's just Alex.exe. The respawner alive as he has to jump away. And GlobalClan, they bit off more than they can chew there. I mean, the chase, the milk was fine at the beginning, but they definitely went way too far. Didn't end their Uber in a pretty good spot, all clumped together, and they just got picked off one by one. So ultimately, really good job from the side of Poop Gaming to salvage things after making that little bit of a mistake there with losing their explosive classes on their own second. And now they find themselves with an ad of their own. They just have to beware of Scratch on Sniper in forwards.
I think has spotted it, but that doesn't stop Nami from being taken down by a sticky trap. So that is going to halt the aggression just a little bit from Poop Gaming. They have to now lead it in on Rakuso, and they are going to be using in flying and MiG as deep as they possibly can. They might have the opportunity to catch some soldiers and demo over in lobby. Alex is going to go down with trades with Rakuso with an amazing lock and load pipe, and that is going to definitely halt any further aggression from Poop Gaming. They shouldn't have to worry, at least immediately, about a response from GlobalClan, because they are going to wait for Alex and probably their Uber before they go for anything, but you can expect that GlobalClan are going to immediately try and push out. They do have actually not as big an Uber at it as I thought. It's only around 30%, so maybe instead they might not go for it. They do have the heavy up. Does Darty switch to NG? That he does, so they instead are just going to sit on their last. They are peeking into lobby, maybe trying to see if everyone on Poop Gaming are just playing a bit closer than expected, and no, they're going to go for it, even with Darty on Engineer, just as a failsafe. Rakuso going to try and get in through behind, so that Sentry Gun is going to work out wonders. Over in lobby, trying to fight Alexandros, is doing a lot of damage. Rakuso goes for the point, but the gun doesn't block the point. Can he get there in time? He doesn't, but Engineer was for nothing.
Yeah, I think Darty thought that, oh yeah, no, people in lobby would have seen if they were backcapping. I'm fine to go ahead and switch off. So he leaves to switch off Engineer right as the call comes through that the two have busted into last. Rakuso way earlier than the side of I think got caught at some point and had to fight someone inside lobby, but Rakuso got through Scott 3 and worked around through the truck area and ate a little bit of sentry damage and able to cap that up. So really nice play from the side of Poop Gaming to go for that back cap play. And GlobalClan didn't see it coming. So 1-1 game right now. We've seen some slow and methodical mids, but eventually push comes to shove and we will see soldiers bomb in. We'll once again not be right off the bat and we'll have to wait for some damage to come through. But Grape Juice, is it a fake? No, straight onto MiG, separated from Fox.
Oh my god.
Nice air shot onto MiG, taken out, but they've given up both their soldiers, and Alex.exe is a bit weak as well. They need much more than this. Much more than just a single downman kill. They've given us so many resources. Got the kill onto sacrificed Alex for it though, so it's not going to be that great in GlobalClan's favor. It's actually Poop Gaming that are still leaving one and continue to run forward, but with that, it is still only a 3v3 since they have to cap, so not going to commit quite yet. Both teams still have the Uber. Just going to go ahead and back up and wait for the rest of their team, but there is ample opportunity because Alex is respawning. He's rolling out, no traps, and Rakuso, Walrex already in. Might be a two-man, might be a distraction. Walked on a Dinko up in the air. Misses the air shot, misses the second one. Will be able to click that kill from the side of Darty, but Alexandros isn't going to be so lucky. Nami able to peek through the doorway, get the kill onto him. It gives up his life though. Alex, just as he returns, plants a sticky right underneath Nami's feet and takes him out. So overall, a 2-for-1 trade that allows GlobalClan to still make some moves here. They're getting inside, through backs. Actually, it's Grape Juice going in for the high bomb. Maybe a bit of distraction. Trash is going to die, but on to MiG, who once again is one from Boxy. But the arrow, the double arrow, they gave up their entire team and only had to lose in return from the side of Poop Gaming.
Dinko used.
Clutch from the side of Foxy, and the Dinko use is something I didn't even notice. So GlobalClan, disaster all around in 3 separate fronts, as they just have to completely give up 2.
Yeah, they do have to give it up. I think it was who went in and was able to get the force onto Dinko. Now they're in a panic mode. They're on their last. They don't have Uber. They do have all their players up, and they are trying to build a sentry gun scratch over on the sniper, just trying to see if he can maybe get a shot as the Uber comes in through Shutter. Nami gonna be leading it. They take down the sentry gun, getting a lot of cap time onto the point. Finally, the soldier does come in to block, but they clean him up almost immediately. And now they have to focus down this heavy, but Darty gets melted. There's so much cap time onto the point. Can they hold on to it? They're doing a lot of great damage actually, but it's just gonna be, they have the heals advantage for Poop Gaming. They're coming in, Scratch and Grape Juice have got to have a miraculous hold here. They're doing a lot of damage, but it's not gonna be enough. They're gonna make it 2-1 in the favor of Poop Gaming.
I mean, making one mistake there from the side of GlobalClan wouldn't be the end of the world, because, you know, you're kind of supposed to go for a sack there, and, like, Grape Juice, really unlucky that his target got arrowed twice, and then he didn't get the kill. And then the scratch death is really unfortunate, but the fact that the Uber happens, well, that's like the perfect combination where there's no hope left, and you are kind of just losing the round from too many mistakes happening at the same time. So maybe a bit on the unlucky side, maybe also a bit on just the skill side from them. The execution not quite there in that moment, all combined. But at the end of the day, that is going to be a round in favor of Poop Gaming, who did execute as much as they needed to be able to secure it. But we're back to another mid here. Once again, things are going to be a bit slower. A little bit more ground control from the side of Poop Gaming, who are actually climbing on top of the height in a much more dominant manner. But they are taking some damage in return. Taking most of the beating, and the initiate will come onto him. But Alexandros kind of did it alone. They double bomb, not necessarily in the same spot, but they will indeed get Foxy. So really good job there to be able to secure that medic kill and just running away with the rest of your team. But you have to be aware of the rest of the teammates that might try to run forward from the side of Poop Gaming, but no, not enough HP or positioning to go ahead and chase down the remaining GlobalClan players. So they will go ahead and escape with their lives all the way back to 2. And with their sodas respawning soon, all I gotta do is buff them up and get ready to pick a door. Doesn't seem like there's too many shenanigans happening from the side of Poop Gaming. You have Rakuso kind of spotting in kitchen to see if they're going to be going lower or not. Otherwise, you'd kind of assume it's Saw. But Saw is going to be the door they go ahead and choose. Scratch going in through Catwalk early. The rest of the team following in suit. Bombs come in, but they might take this for free, TC.
Yeah, they just might be able to. I guess the fortunate thing for Poop Gaming is that they don't lose anyone either, so they should have everyone to try and hold up on second. Foxy at 60%, so if they're able to stuff them just enough, they might be able to get to stay on to second, but they're playing very far back. They might just let them have this one for free as well, and they are going to. Actually, no, I say that, bombing in, doing some good damage onto Dinko, dodging a lot of it, not going to be able to get the kill or the force, so that is going to be GlobalClan taking second. They haven't had to use their Uber. Scratch very aggressive already over on that left door, maybe just trying to get some space for a sack, but I think things are going to slow down. Both teams do have Uber Rakuso up on the sniper, so it is just going to be a question of how do GlobalClan want to try and pressure in here and get a sack. Grape Juice gets on the point, gets some good cap time, but aside from that, I don't think anything else is going to happen here. Walrus does push up a little bit to maybe see if he can get a nice flank onto those retreating players, but with that not going to fruition, they're just going to reset. Classic Snakewater last to second stalemate.
Yep, see what Grape Juice respawns on. It's going to be Soldier. Actually, Scratch is running back to go ahead and snipe. So that is going to be the play here. Navy is going on Engineer, so there will be a gun in turn, which is honestly, you kind of need to spam down the gun, you kind of have to get rid of the sniper, otherwise your soldiers just get headshot. So that's kind of the only real explanation, like the way that you can really deal with it, is just to kill the other sniper defending and then spamming down the gun afterwards. At least like a fully well-oiled machine of a team, like they're the full defense. But I think they did check if there was an off class, so they do know of this Scratch sniper. It's not a surprise. There is no surprise shot, and Mig I think is going to play with fire and make some eye contact with the sniper as well. I saw a dot on his head, and you can definitely hear both the op shots go off. So if there was any confusion, there's no confusion anymore about what is going on right now. GlobalClan have taken lobby. They have some lobby presence, and they're going to be rotating around trying to support sniper of their own in Scratch to maybe get him some angles. But he's in the upper right now, actually. Maybe trying to take an off angle. The gun is going to die, not necessarily protected as much as it need to be, and this could be ample opportunity to just go ahead and rip a two-man, because this is the best shot you're really going to get. But no, they're playing it slow on the shutter side. Wants to go ahead and peek to the normal position a medic would be at, but that is not where they will find Foxy. Rakuso down to 3 HP on scout, will eat an arrow in his spine. There is no sniper on the field to deal with anymore, but Alexandros will die inside the shutter. So have the rest of the team on the move, trying to poke and prod to see if they can catch anyone else on the side of GlobalClan out, but they all be leaving, and Rakuso just jumps through bats. Does not find a shot onto Dinko, so overall 1-for-1 trade here. But with Scratch already, or no, with Alexandros already up, respawning, might be a moment for them to get some room. Rakuso can't counter snipe right now. The gun is barely set up at level 2 in the spawn area, so the side where Mig is holding is just going to be him alone trying to deal with it. But Grape Juice finds himself in a soldier duel trying to spam down the gun. No one will die, but Alexandros will do a high bomb straight onto Foxy. Surf rocket, second one does not come out of the launcher. So overall, some weak players on the side of the Poop Gaming, but overall no kills or force there. And with these single sacks and accidental deaths, you know, the clock is running down as we're at 90 seconds, under 90 seconds left to go. Alexandros will respawn on Soldier, and they only have a couple more attempts to go here on the side of GlobalClan until it is going to be another mid-fight.
Yeah, another mid-fight, and if you are Poop Gaming, you got to be feeling pretty alright about going to a round reset the mids. I've kind of been back and forth, maybe a bit more favoring GlobalClan. I say that Scratch does get taken down, so that could be just in the perfect kind of timing window for him to respawn, get back up on Scout, and just be right back with his team to try and go for an Uber exchange. So that's probably what he's going to do, and yeah, he does spawn up on Scout, so they're going to be looking for an Uber exchange from GlobalClan. Ideally, they're able to cap the round and or cap the point and get the round here, or at the very least, not blunder it so badly that they just allow an easy push out or a favorable push out for Poop Gaming to decide to go for it. But they come in with the Uber. Actually, Darty, they're not actually using the Uber. I think they're just going to be going for a 3-man. They do get 2 with it. They don't get the force, but I think that just makes it very clear that we're going to be in a stalemate. I doubt Poop Gaming push out from here. Actually, no, Rakuso's in. Oh, they're going to go for it. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a 4v3. GC, I mean, yeah, you just go ahead and get the point for free if you're not that confident about your mids, which, I mean, they've been kind of back and forth at least a little bit, but this might be the thing that bites them. This might have been bait, really. I mean, you were kind of right to say that, yeah, no, they'll just go for a reset, and you can see, like, why teams will say, no, we shouldn't reset, we should push out, because they got the point right. But then the respawners are favorable for the team that sacked in. This is kind of their territory, and then someone dies because you try to hold it, and it's just like, now they're just going in with one person, and oh my god, Great Beast almost hit the shot of the year there, potentially. At least so far, but does not quite hit the mark, as overall it's just going to be a trade of players. Rakuso will die to Alexandros inside lower, try to get too aggressive there, and overall just more time bit off the clock, but the clock did get reset. So we're at no longer under 90 seconds, so this is actually pretty good from the side of GlobalClan that Poop Gaming did decide to go ahead and retake 2 just to lose it immediately. But tries to get a little bit adventurous, even though they're down a player, and goes for a risky play, and it does not work out in his favor. Gun immediately spammed, and Walrix can't deal with that shutter alone, has to go ahead and reset, but now they're all just kind of in spawn. They're just getting tons of cap time. The Uber has to get used, and they're getting the damage onto Scratch, but will they be able to collect the kill? They will indeed get 2. The counter Uber comes out. Grape Juice running forward, putting some damage onto Rakuso. Walrix trying to block the point. Eats an arrow, so he's still alive. Will eventually die, though, as they're now streaming landing on top of the point. They have the respawners in their advantage. Grape Juice jumping around. Darty might fall. He's trying to salvage. He gets the kill on the Navy, but Foxy's dead. Grape Juice gets the kill. His final breath will indeed make sure that frag goes in his direction, as Darty's going to be the last one on the field at last, getting killed by But overall, Dinko did leave his team for dead, but that means he is able to go ahead and meet back with his respawners and generating at least a 30-40% ad here in GlobalClan's favor. So at the end of the day, really good job off of the initiation and the aggression coming through that shutter side to make sure that the counter Uber ended in their favor. And even though they didn't connect the round there, maybe they'll be able to do it now. And even if they don't immediately, Darty has an insurance policy.
Darty does indeed have an insurance policy up on that spy, which could be good deciding on how they want to play it. There's already a lot of cap time onto the point, so he might just try and sneak in and get some early, but instead the rest of the team all over by the shutter side, just going to be waiting for the call from Scratch, and now here it is. They do use it with the Uber. They take down the Sentry Gun. Darty actually gets in onto Walrix, so that spy play is immediately already worked, and they're going to find another, and that's going to be the round, tying it up 2-2. He just needed to get one pick there, and immediately his class swap would have been worth it. He does, so that is going to be a very good last push for GlobalClan.
That's honestly arguably one of the best pick he could have gotten, because the first thing you're looking to kill in the Uber in the last is the soldiers who come and block the point. But the first one came, blocked it. Okay, who's next? The other soldier got stabbed, So then the whole team has to go forward, and then they're easy picking, then they just die. So really good job there, and they collect that round. 2-2 game right now, going into the 5th mid here, as they avoided a reset from earlier with the push out. And we'll see how things transpire here. I think so far it's been GlobalClan that have been initiating, and things have been hot and cold in terms of working out. They're going on different targets. They will be able to get the kill onto Foxy, so once again, going for the strategy of selling out for the enemy medic and just leaving with their own. Alex.exe will be a casualty here very late, and will not be here at all, having a presence on 2, even though GC will have an Uber to work with. So the side of Poop Gaming, they don't have heals. There's not going to be traps, though, so maybe there's a window where they can try to poke around and see if they can get aggressive to go for some sort of force. But it seems like they're playing it safe. Go ahead and back up with their whole team. They want to go for something set up and slow and methodical rather than really chaotic. And we'll see how things pan out from here. So Alex will be there for the push. He's just barely arriving. His kill will, or his death will at least buy some time for the side of Poop Gaming to be able to get a little bit closer of an Uber to be able to come back into mid later when they do retreat, assuming Foxy doesn't die. But it looks like it's going to be a lower push from the side of Scratch and friends. They have to deal with the traps. They're kind of spotted. They're getting early damage onto the soldiers. Barely surviving, actually not even, as the final rocket comes down to Alexandros, and they're just taking this for free. Walrus tried to go inside Saw to go behind to go for a play from there, but did not succeed either. And they are going to lose Alexandros, so Rakuso does clutch up getting that kill there, so it's not complete for free, but at the end of the day, they still have their Uber, they still have something to work with. Now, Foxy will get an Uber of her own, so it's not all she wrote for the side of the red team, but with a player advantage inside GlobalClan's hands, this is a very ample time to sack, and they are indeed doing so.
Yeah, it's going to be Mig taking down, so no demo for Poop Gaming either, so that's going to make this even more open for GlobalClan. Scratch getting in very deep, just trying to get all that damage off. Oh, Walrix coming in is going to be able to get the force out onto Dinko. The counter use has been done from Poop Gaming. There's going to be Walrix bombing in again pretty deep. They're going to be chasing Darty, who's running back to maybe just buy a little bit of time, buy a little bit of space, and immediately see GlobalClan coming right back in, trying to refight this just a little bit. But I think with Darty's death there and all the attention now right back on them, they are just going to back out. Poop Gaming now, maybe trying to see if they could go for something, but Walrix dives over in Sol. Alexandros so weak, but isn't going to go down. Scratch and going to be in as Alexandros peels away to take down Naming with the pockets count down. 2 players down on Poop Gaming. GlobalClan going to be able to walk right in on the second for free. Everyone on Poop Gaming just have to get out, leaving through the left side, and immediately GlobalClan taking some space over on the right, being able to kind of poke through just a little bit. They might try and go for maybe another kind of a drive fight as they did earlier on, but I think they are going to slow things down here. Both medics roundabout even, so not going to see any Uber ad pushes just quite yet. So it's going to be on GlobalClan to try and go for some type of sack play here. All eyes on probably their soldiers, Grape Juice, or Alexandros to really initiate something.
Yeah, a little bit of greed at the tail end of things there from the side of Poop Gaming leads them to fall back to their last. I mean, they thought they had Alexandros caught, but they just weren't all ready to actually go into Saw to kill him, so it kind of just ended up being a chain feed. So GlobalClan, first job, since there's no sniper, gotta spam down the gun. Lucky for them, it's only level 1, but as time continues on, it will get more and more HP they'll have to deal with, and they are losing a lot of HP themselves, but they will get the kill into that makes things a bit easier. Less spam to go towards the door's way. They need to stand in to get the sentry down, but Walrek is tanked up to 300 in lower. Will rotate a bit as he needs to try to prevent the rotations from GlobalClan, but the double soldier bomb will come in as the gun picked up. That honestly is the next best thing if you can get it while it's building, but they were weak themselves, so no one's really quite able yet. Grape Juice tries to find the timing, but the gun's already level 2 and shooting people. He'll bomb in. The gun rotation not catching him quite there, but they will eventually get the kill onto him. So overall, not quite fast enough there from the damage they received earlier. So the sack will not be successful, as a GlobalClan will go ahead and back on the lobby and go back to the drawing board here. Kuso builds up his gun all the way to level 3. Walrex, checking off classes, will find they're completely cookie cutter. Scratch, I think, wanted to go back to snipe, but there was a miscommunication, and Grape Juice kind of just walked out of the forward, so there will not be a sniper play coming from GlobalClan, even though that was their intention. And Walrex is still paranoid. He's still sitting there checking stuff. He thinks that they might be throwing him off and, like, doing a late swap, but that is not the case, as Scratch will just go ahead and die himself. Come on, sniper, since there was a mistake and Grape Juice didn't hold the door, so technically a sack, even though it was just kind of just running in to die. As now Walrex still on spy checking. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious at this point, with a death like that he is indeed coming up on sniper. But yeah, he is actually. You're right, Dolphin. He is just spy crabbing, and but that's why he didn't need to really check. Yeah, he checks once on sniper, and he knew, so he just had to wait for the actual respawn. You know, checking what Scratch is going to spawn as when he still has 8 seconds of the timer does nothing. But he eventually finds the info he needs. And there will be no surprise shot here coming from GlobalClan, but now they need to deal with the gun once more, this time level 3. Easier said than done, but maybe Scratch will provide the opening that GlobalClan needs to be able to crack open the last.
Yeah, he's over here at the shutter door, and he's actually going to be taken down almost immediately. Nice bomb from Walrux to get that pick. So the Scratch Sniper sent right back to the respawn room, and maybe Walrux as well if he goes back just to check and see if Scratch actually does respawn back up on the Sniper. But for the meantime, that just buys a lot more time off the clock for Poop Gaming. And actually, Scratch, it doesn't come up because we're kind of in that scenario once again where it's kind of looking like GlobalClan need to go for some type of Uber exchange unless for round resets. They do lose 2, maybe trying to take down the sentry gun, but both their soldiers down. They should be able to get back up in time for the Uber exchange, but they are going to be cutting it very, very close. So not the best play from GlobalClan. They're trying to do what they did previously, which is take down the sentry gun before you go in for the push, which they were able to do last time without any losses, but this time just not working out for them.
Yeah, that's the difficult thing about getting down the gun is, and on any map really, is you can try to have your soldiers spam it down, but even if you succeed, there's a high chance that your soldiers took damage themselves from the enemy, and now you don't have the HP to go for your sack, and the gun just gets rebuilt, or maybe you die, etc., etc. The desperation Uber exchange comes out. Scratch will run towards the point for cap time, but there are people prepared there to try to take him down. But overall, they're losing the people on the side of Poop Gaming. I look towards the point to see Scratch go towards it, and I didn't even see what happened towards the lobby side of things. So I guess like Poop Gaming thought that it'd be easy pickings with them having a better Uber to try to chase people down, but bit off more they could chew at the end of the day. And GlobalClan, I mean, let's be real. Usually in those desperation Ubers, 9 times out of 10, you expect them to not work out, but you still go for it for the 1 time out of 10, and I think this was a good example of the 1 time out of 10 where they, they caught Poop Gaming with their pants down, and they were rewarded with a round 3-2, and we're back to another mid.
We are indeed back to another mid. Is it going to be more heroics from Grape Juice as they bomb in both soldiers trying to get onto Fox, and they do find their target? That's going to be a dead medic once again. Dinko managing to survive, so it'll be another case of technically Poop Gaming winning the mid, but losing their mid to do it. Dinko can be able to stay alive this time with Darty as their sole protector. And that should be the case for what we've seen quite a few times already now, Jarrett, where Poop Gaming, they win the mid, but they lose their medic. It's just going to be an opportunity for GlobalClan to push right back in with that Uber charge that they get from just building up. So it's going to be a case of it's actually only 30 seconds left as well in the match timer. So if GlobalClan kind of work this out well, they could be able to take it in this round right now, making it 4-3 or 4-2.
Yep. Setup is normal from the side of Poop Gaming, at least how they've been setting up so far, but this setup has been allowing GlobalClan to take some mids for free, points for free, but that sticky trap kill from the side of MiG will kind of nip things immediately, so they're going to go ahead and cancel it, considering, you need the scout speed to be able to go ahead and catch people as, like you said, the infinite overtime will go ahead and kick in. It looks like the side of Poop Game will go ahead and play it safe and wait for an Uber of their own and not immediately go off of the 1-person advantage. Don't want to accidentally die with 10% disad with Scratch. On Spy, let me zoom over. He is walking out of the spawn. He's committing onto it. They get the kill onto A lot of damage on the MiG. Has to be careful. He's eaten a lot of arrows that have kept him alive, and he's going to continue the luck so far. But, with the 1 soldier dead, there is some room for GlobalClan to pressure, but having a Spy means, you might not necessarily want to have the one soldier death in case Scratch accidentally dies or wants to go for the risky decloak, as might find the moment now, depending. I mean, Rakuso dying as well? Yeah, that's a decloak, that's a dead Foxy. Maybe, no! Lafondre, the force! Okay, Foxy, 20 HP. That's enough hit shot that is going to be the force. You don't want to sleep on the Spy revolver. Uber, in turn, they've chased way too far. They thought that, sure, let's run forward and get the force, not realizing that Blue would just pop in turn. They've pretty much almost all died. There are 2 behind, though. The soldiers are on 2, trying to bring back the team. Everyone from the side of GlobalClan is turning around to come back for these players. Walrux will be the first to fall. Will be able to get the kill on the Alexandros. Eats the pack. Jumps away. Is he going to escape? He's in Saw right now, getting chased by Grape Juice. Will not succeed, but bought a lot of time for the rest of Poop Gaming to go ahead and respawn. They don't have the positioning, so it's going to be really hard for them to hold mid, and you do see their passive positioning. For Rakuso, going for a play inside kitchen, barely alive, will eventually die, can only imagine, and yeah, gets cleaned up as 3 people turn around to go ahead and kill him, but it's going to buy time for Boston to respawn. So even though them losing mid was overall going to be a done deal after what happened with that, I guess, Uber exchange in Saw, the plays coming from the Soldier and Rakusu there allowed them to go ahead and make sure that when they arrive here on 2, even though they have disad, they can at least have a full, not full, but 5 players up on the field. But even though it's not completely detrimental to try to get a force, they're not going to take the risk. But still, enough risk was taken that Mig just dies. Never mind, I spoke too soon. So now maybe the indecisiveness on what, you know, are you going to go for a force? You're going to say, are you going to what? Like, what are you doing? Mig not being there means no stickies. They walk in. Dying as well.
Walrix.
Uber gets used onto no one. Namie's dead. Walrix is dead. They are not on the same page in this last 30 seconds, and it shows that Rakusa takes the tail end of things to try to kill Scratch, but I don't even know if he can do that. Scratch still alive. The rest of the red team is falling. I mean, they get the consolation kill into Grape Juice, but they just crumbled there absolutely in the last second of things, as GlobalClan will take the final round and win the game on Snakewater 4-2.
4-2. I'm just gonna say that was my prediction, but on that last push, I mean, Walrix, I was looking pretty good for Poop Gaming because he bombed in. He was able to get that drop onto Dinko. That it really wasn't the Uber from a GlobalClan that really did anything there. It was just, so it even made it even more surprising when Poop Gaming weren't able to do anything with their Uber, and maybe it was a case of, once again, them just kind of not being able to focus fire, just kind of, like you said, maybe shooting the wrong things, being a little bit too disconnected, because otherwise they had kind of, Walrix kind of salvaged them an opportunity to try and stay in the match, but making it 4-2, that is going to be GlobalClan's first win of the season against Poop Gaming. Poop Gaming now going to be going 1-2 in their season, not yet to have gotten a an actual win, I'll say, because the bye week is a it's whatever, but that is going to be pretty good for GlobalClan, and I think while I'd say they're not favorites to make playoffs, they definitely have the potential to be kind of an upset team, and if they're able to get a win against a kind of a playoffs expected team, it could definitely put a lot of chaos into the Invite division. So I'm very excited to see how the rest of their season goes, but just overall, just kind of better from GlobalClan. I mean, they had a few more heroics, Grape Juice coming out, getting those 3 air shots, just absolutely insane stuff. Each of them on, not each of them on a mid, but each of them onto a pretty important target. 2 of them onto Foxy, and then I think another onto Mig as well. So absolutely popping off.
Yep. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's important to note that regardless of where you are in the division, you know, it kind of still matters, even for, like, if you're on the lower end per se. It'll still matter, because if you get too low on the rungs of the ladder, then eventually you reach a point where it's like, you know, if room needs to be made for the advanced winners to move up and all the teams in Invite live, someone's going to get forced to move down, you know, to make room, right? So ultimately, you know, even if you don't have endeavors of winning matches, is even on the lower side of things, is still really important. So the side of Poop Gaming, you definitely, you know, they're probably happy they at least got rounds, but still want to collect some victories here so they can make sure they maintain their slot. I think for the side of GlobalClan, I think they probably have aspirations. It's just going to be a really difficult climb. I think there's maybe 7 teams that say to themselves that, like, oh yeah, we could make playoffs, and 3 of them are just gonna, like, you know, you could, but you didn't. Unfortunate, you know. So we'll see if they end up making the cut. They got a long road ahead of them, because they do have to climb at least a little bit from the deficit of losses that they have. But moving on to G6 next tonight. This is a doubleheader. It's going to be kind of rough for them, but maybe it won't be the be-all, end-all here. Maybe they will be able to put the upset they need to put themselves back on the map. As G6, you know, they had a showing recently where they didn't necessarily have their A game forward, and it netted them a loss. So who's to say GlobalClan can't pull out something similar and show how they can really shine, especially because, you know, different maps, different play styles, different to you. So I'm excited to see how things transpire as we go into the next match shortly. I'm assuming there's going to be a small break just for the sake of the teams. They need to get up and go stretch the legs, etc. And obviously you got to call over G6 to get them in the server. But we'll take about a 3-minute break to allow everyone a little bit of a recess here. And then we'll come back and we'll start to take a little bit of a look at the next match that's happening tonight, which is going to be GlobalClan versus G6. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.